Hello, this is the week 1 lecture for our class. I've also attached this lecture as a PowerPoint presentation if you would prefer to look at it in a format that you can look at your leisure. So this is our first lecture for American Literary Tradition Literary St. Louis, and this is Dr. Rebecca Karen Wood as your narrator. And as you have probably looked at the syllabus already, you've seen the course description, which we've also got repeated here. I'm not going to read this all to you, but I wanted to give a couple highlights. This course is going to explore the history of the St. Louis metropolitan area through literary works, and those literary works could be by authors who've lived in St. Louis, who visited St. Louis, or who have left St. Louis and never returned. So we'll have some interesting stories and different viewpoints about St. Louis. And I also hope to learn about your viewpoints of St. Louis. Some of you may live in St. Louis, some of you may have visited St. Louis, and some of you may not live in St. Louis or have ever been here. So I would like to know your perspectives on our city, the city that is the home of St. Louis University. So make sure that when you log on to Blackboard that you do it frequently. Daily would be very nice, at least every other day would be the minimum. Class will be conducted through Blackboard only, and I will be posting lectures in YouTube format as well as the PowerPoint format. Please read your syllabus carefully and post your introduction to the class on the discussion board as soon as you can, and I will read all of those and respond back to them. Also, please make sure to check your SLU email daily because there might be an important message from your instructor or one of your classmates. And then each week we'll have at least one historic YouTube video because this class is one that will incorporate both history and literature. And we're basically learning about literature, or pardon me, learning about history through the literature, but also there are some other materials to help make the class more vivid and interesting for you. These are the course objectives, including the results or outcome expected. You can look at these. They're also on the syllabus. We are going to have written reflections upon our place in the history of St. Louis as we gain appreciation for literary texts. Also, we're going to demonstrate our familiarity with the works in the class with discussion board posts and journal entries. We also have 2 formal essays that we'll write this term. So I'm looking forward to hearing everything that you guys think about this class and about St. Louis as we go along. And for a successful class, the class officially begins March 19th, and week 1 will already be available. Please post your introduction to the class in the Blackboard discussion board as soon as possible. The deadline is Thursday, March 22nd. And also, you will be expected to participate regularly on the Blackboard discussion board. I will do the same. I try to log on at least once a day, usually in the late evening, so that I can read everyone's discussion board posts. I do not necessarily respond to everyone, but I do read all the posts, and your discussion board posts that are in response to each other count just as much toward your participation as those in reply to me. Also, we'll have quizzes, assignments, and the final exam, and please complete those by the deadline. Anything that is turned in more than 3 days after the deadline will not be counted, and if it is turned in late, it will receive only 3/4 credit. So you don't want to lose any points. Please turn in everything by the deadlines in the course schedule or calendar. This week's reading assignment, we're going to read about the entire introduction to our textbook. There's quite a bit of information in there. It's a great overview of the book and of the situation in St. Louis and the different factors that have made up the city, its positives and its negatives. Also, Marquette's first voyage and the narrative of the settlement of St. Louis. There are also 2 videos to view that will go along with this material. And there's no place like St. Louis, in my opinion. I've been here for a long time, not all of my life, but to introduce us to the class, I thought there is no place like the St. Louis Public Library main branch to think about the juxtaposition of old and new in St. Louis and history along with the brand new things that are futuristic. Let's see, this is the facade of the library as it is today. It's been renovated and there's a lovely new addition on the back of the building, which looks like the right-hand picture. And as you can see, this is like, to me, the staircase to the future. And there's beautiful books and there's old books and new books. And the St. Louis Public Library is such a part of our history and such a wonderful thing to be proud of. And so I recommend, if you can ever find the time, to go to the St. Louis Library main branch and visit and experience it for yourself. And this is something you will not be able to experience as it once was. You can still go over to Cahokia Mounds Park in Illinois and you can walk up the mound, but it doesn't look like this anymore. This is an artist's rendering of what they believe the mounds look like. The main mound, Monk's Mound. And so this is a screenshot from the video about Cahokia Mounds in our week 1 module. So please watch the video, and there's many more images and much more information about Cahokia Mounds in that video. Also, this is a map of early St. Louis. This is a screenshot from the other video, Shoto's journal in his own words. And so this is an early map of St. Louis. It doesn't look like modern St. Louis a lot. And this is, I thought, a really interesting image from the video about Shoto's journal. And this shows some historical enactors down at the waterfront. And it shows the helicopter tours in the background, and it shows the modern bridges with the traffic. And so I thought this is a wonderful symbolic picture of how St. Louis is both a mixture of the old and the new, and we always look back to the history for good or for not so good, but we also look forward, and it's hard to separate the two. And then we're also going to look back at documentation in this class and think about it a little bit this week. And of course, I have this lovely image also from the St. Louis Public Library. There's just a tremendous number of books and old wooden shelves, and it's wonderful. And again, this is another commercial for the library. But looking back at documentation, the essays assigned for this class will include a requirement for an two MLA documented research papers. So please review the Purdue OWL website for information about writing an MLA documented paper. And also, please don't forget that SLU University Writing Services is a terrific resource for all of us at SLU. So make sure that you save time for yourself so that you can get your paper looked at by University Writing Services so that you can take advantage of their service, and you can do that on a walk-in basis or you can do it online. And if you send your paper in online, please make sure and let them know that you are a School for Professional Studies student. And then if you would like to contact me, you may email me at rebecca.wood@slu.edu or through Blackboard. And my cell phone number is there. You can text me or call me. And then my office hours are by appointment, and please email or text if you have any questions. And I'm really looking forward to working with everyone and learning more about the first parts of St. Louis history this week 1. Thank you. Bye-bye.